All right, here we go. It's a brand new Flyers Daily for the 4th of November, 2023. Flyers Daily is presented as always by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live as the Flyers they get the win in Buffalo by a final score of 5-1. They get outshot by Buffalo, actually 22-19. This is hockey. It's so bizarre. You outshoot Buffalo 40-15 on Wednesday. You lose 5-2. You get outshot 22-19. You win 5-1. It's a bizarre sport. Very bizarre sport. Flyers open the scoring. They get a couple early in this game as Scott Laughton just 63 seconds in picks up his first goal of the season, assisted by Bobby Brink and Joel Farabee. And because of those two assists, how about lots of donations coming tonight with some assists. The Flyers are teaming up with Penn Medicine for the Penn Medicine assist. For every Flyers assist, Penn Medicine and the Flyers will donate 30 pounds of food to local communities in need. So that's 60 pounds of food right there from Brink and Farabee to Laughton for the opening goal of the game. Then 131 in, Louis Belpedio picks up a rebound and puts it in for his first NHL goal. And turns out to be the game-winning goal just a minute and a half into the game. 2-0 Flyers, 14:57 as a power play just expires. Travis Konechny gets the breakaway, goes in and beats Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I think Konechny has had 2 breakaway goals this season. And on both of them, he did not look to try and deke the goalie at all. Head up, looking for a spot, find his spot, and just beat him. And he does exactly that to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. That's his 9th of the season, which ties him for the lead in the NHL with 9 goals. 2 players in the NHL have 2 other players have 9 goals. One of them we actually saw. He had a hat trick against the Flyers, and that was the Anaheim Ducks forward, Frankie Vetrano. He's got 9 on the season, and so does Alex DeBrincat. But now, Travis Konechny joins that club as well, the 9-goal club. We'll see who gets to double digits first. That puts the Flyers up 3-0 in the game. Head to the second period. Really important period for the Flyers, I thought, in a lot of ways. Because you have a 3-0 lead on the road, and you go into that second period, a little bit of pushback from Buffalo, but the Flyers kind of didn't flinch at it. It's like when somebody goes to throw a punch at you and you flinch. They didn't flinch, and they stood in there, and at 14:35, the fourth line got what I thought was a very important goal when Garnet Hathaway just kind of slides to the back door, just rotates a little bit lower than the defense, doesn't keep himself in line where, Ryan Poehling can't get him the puck because of the defenders between Poehling and Garnet Hathaway. He just rotates to the back door, almost, parallel with the goal line. And then Poehling finds him and just nails it home. Delarier picks up an assist as well. That puts the Flyers up 4-0, and that's how we'd head to the third period. How would they finish it off? Third periods have been the period that's been the problem for the Flyers. Against Vegas, they go into the third period, up a goal. Against Dallas, they went into it down 2 goals, but ended up tying it, but losing it in overtime. You look at the Carolina game, 2-2 heading into the third. You look at the game the other night against Buffalo. The first game, 2-2 going into the third. They lost 5-2. So what would happen in this third period? Well, 2:24 in, Buffalo gets on the board. Yoki Haru gets the goal, and it puts Buffalo on the board. It's now 4-1. But again, like that punch that gets thrown, do you flinch? They didn't flinch. And they stuck to their game plan. They kept a continuation of the way they played, really, against Carolina, really the way they played Wednesday against Buffalo. Even though they didn't get the result, they stuck with the game plan, and they stuck with it in this third period. And then at 11:28, Joel Farabee makes a great read in the D zone and jumps kind of a passing lane, gets the stick in there, and it forces a break the other way. Such a good read in the D zone. Just that part of it would have been good. But Joel Farabee takes it up the ice, and then as he gets to the blue line, he kind of pulls up and waits for Bobby Brink to just get beyond the defenseman of the Buffalo Sabres, and he feathers a pass beautifully to him. Brink goes in, buries it, puts the Flyers up 5-1, and that's your final. Good performance, good execution, and good that they did not abandon what they've been doing. That is good structural hockey and good transition hockey and good D-zone coverage just because the result didn't go their way. Sometimes in hockey, the result won't go your way. Torts had talked about one thing. He said in his most recent press conference prior to this game, I'm not going to look for things to be wrong. I like the way we've played. They haven't gotten the result, but I'm not going to go digging through the tape just to find mistakes because we haven't gotten the result. But he has talked about slow starts, and that was not something he could talk about last night because the team got off to a great start and they sustained it through the first period. So slow starts, I'm sure they were accentuated in his pregame speech to the team, and the team responded. It was not a slow start at all. For the first time this season, I think Sam Ersson in the second period, he saw 12 shots in that period, maybe 13, was able to finally get into a rhythm of a game. Now, sometimes the game does not allow a goalie to get into the rhythm. It just doesn't play out that way. The goalie has nothing to do with it, really. It's like so much of goaltending is, it's a effect of your environment, your surroundings, how things are dictated to you. You don't, as a goaltender, you can't dictate the terms. You have to react to them. And I thought for the first time, there was some consistent pressure on Sam Ersson, some consistent shots with volume, some varying degrees of difficulty in saves, and he stood up. And he was able to finally, I think, get into a rhythm of a game in the season. And not to mention, he was asked after the game about his team getting off to a fast start and giving up a couple of goals or getting a couple of goals. He's been at the other end of that. He knows what it's like to give up a goal early, and to have a little bit of a buffer, I think, helped as well. So this is kind of the team picking up Sam Ersson, and then in the second period, Ersson picking up the team. So good performance out of Sam Ersson. Does he play tonight? Do you play him against the Kings? He saw 22 shots in the game. Saw in the game on Wednesday, when he came in 10 minutes into the game, so he played 50 of the 60 minutes. I mean, Buffalo only had 15 shots in that game. I think 11 is all that Ersson saw in that game. So do you play him again tonight? You could make the case to play Sam Ersson tonight against the Los Angeles Kings back at home in a back-to-back. Usually you split the back-to-back with the two goalies. That's what the analytics say. This is a little different because he hasn't had a full workload, hasn't played a ton yet this season, finally seems to be getting into a rhythm. But on the other hand, you've called up Cal Peterson, and Cal Peterson was traded to the Flyers this summer from the team the Flyers are playing tonight, the Los Angeles Kings. So what do you do here? I mean, you can play Cal Peterson if he's still with the team. Carter Hart's day to day, but if he's still with the team when you go to LA on this road trip next Friday, you could do that. But I don't know what the call is tonight. I don't know what the call you make when it comes to goaltending tonight. I really don't. I don't know if you go with Peterson versus his former team, or you go with Ersson, who finally was able to develop some rhythm into his game. We'll see how that plays out. But the Flyers, all in all, good performance in Buffalo. They'll look to build on it tonight. As I've talked about in the last couple of episodes, I think they're in a very important stretch of their schedule right now. They're going to head out on this road trip after the game tonight against the Kings, and they're going to see San Jose. They're going to see Anaheim, who they lost to 7-4 at home. They're going to see the Kings again at Staples, and then they're going to come back east and take on Carolina, who they just lost to last Monday, 3-2, but played really well and stood in there toe-to-toe against them before returning home to take on Vegas on the 18th, who they lost to at having a third period lead at 2-1 in that game and lost in the final 33. So this is a very important stretch for the Flyers right now. So how they get through it, how it plays out, remains to be seen. We'll see, Sean Couturier day to day, Carter Hart's day to day. We'll see how that part of the equation plays out. But this is a very important stretch. As I mentioned before, too, the Flyers lead the NHL in first period scoring 18 goals. That's kind of shocking to me. That kind of knocked me back a little bit. They've scored 18 first period goals this season, and they've scored 8 second period goals. Yet when it comes to shots, they have many more shots, 20-some, 22 shots more in the second periods of games than they do the first. It's really bizarre that's how it's kind of played out so far this season for them. But 18 first period goals, 11 games in, that's not bad. That's a number and a pace that you would certainly like to keep. We'll see if they're able to do that. They've only given up 11 first period goals. And that's really the big part, is that they've scored 18, but they've only give up 11. So they're +7 in first period scoring this season. And we all know this league. If you can get the lead, score the first goal of the game, you can't go up 2-0 if you don't go up 1-0. And 2-0 is obviously big, 3-0, and so on and so forth. So that's a good trait that this team has. Even though, as I mentioned before, Torts has talked about that the team has gotten off to, it takes 6 or 7 minutes sometimes to get their pacing in the game. That wasn't the case last night, but sometimes that is the case. But first period scoring has been a pretty good thing for the Philadelphia Flyers. All right, so the Kings tonight. Now, the Los Angeles Kings on the season, they're a good team. They've really recoiled in a good way. And coming in, they've played 10 games. They're 6-2-2. They've got 14 points. They won their last 2. They're actually in the 3rd spot in the division. They're 1 point back of the second-place Vancouver Canucks, and they're 7 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights. But the Vegas Golden Knights are 10-0-1 in 11 games. And so there's no shame in that. But 6-2-2, obviously a very good start to the season. They're a team that's also just gotten it done on the road so far. They're 1-2-2 at home, but they're 5-0 on the road, are the Los Angeles Kings. That's amazing. That's a great road start for the Los Angeles Kings. Why are they so good on the road? That's an odd thing to be 5-0 to start the season and 1-2-2 on your home ice to begin the season. Here's who they've played of late, though. Their last 5 games. They beat Arizona at home. They were home. They beat them 6-3. Then they beat Arizona on the road, 5-4. Then they lost to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, 4-3 at home. Then they went on the road to Toronto, quality win here, 4-1. Then they go on the road to Ottawa in their last game on Thursday and get a 3-2 win. Now, one of the equations in tonight's game is going to be that the opponent is in Philadelphia waiting for the Flyers as they're returning home from Buffalo. Obviously, they played on Thursday in Ottawa, probably got to Philadelphia on Friday, either Thursday night or Friday. Flyers went up to Buffalo to play a game last night and got home late. So it's not like both teams are in a back-to-back. Now, they're on the road, so that is a little bit different, but one of the pieces, smidgen piece of the equation for the Flyers is they'll take on the Los Angeles Kings tonight. Who's leading the way for the Kings? Who is providing the offense and getting it done for this team as they've kind of turned it over? Some of the older pieces like Kopitar still there, Doughty's still there, but leading the way in points is Kevin Fiala. He's in 10 games, he's got 12 points, 11 of them assists, only 1 goal in the year. Kempe's got 3 goals and 8 assists for 11 points. Anze Kopitar still doing it, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 10 games. And Trevor Moore also with 5 goals and 4 assists, 9 points here in the early going for the Los Angeles Kings. So it'll be the Flyers and the Kings. Cam Talbot played the other night. We'll see if he gets the game tonight or if it's Phoenix Copley. Talbot's gotten off to a good start, 5-2-1, 2.41 goals against average, and a .915 save percentage. Copley has not gotten off to a great start. He's appeared in 3 games. He's got a record of 1-0-1, a 4.98 goals against average, ouch, and a 7.88 save percentage, ouch, has not been good. So I think we might see Cam Talbot tonight as the Flyers take on the Kings. We'll break it down tomorrow, though. So join us then, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on a brand new Flyers Daily.